Apocalypse of Abraham 15, 6 through 7. I saw in the air on the heights to which we ascended a strong light, impossible to describe, and within the light a fiercely burning fire of people, many people, of male appearance. So this is in the heavens, and the vision that Abraham was being shown here, all constantly changing in aspect and form, running and being transformed, and worshiping and crying with a sound of words that I could not recognize.
Amazing.
Transforming more than meets the eye.
You know, like men build their own little like their little man cave, right? It's like heaven is just a massive man cave.
There you go. Yeah, no gender bending going on in the order of angels of heaven. And we know from Enoch 15, when God speaks to the rebellious watchers, that he did not make wives for the angels, whereas they were created to be eternal with no need to reproduce. Yet they're still referred to as masculine, but by design. So does that mean that they are anatomically male, right? Or are they just, like Barbie's boyfriend Ken, just no parts?
I haven't looked at the next slide, but I would say yes.
Okay. That next slide is going to help us confirm what's going on there. Would you read it?
So this is from Jubilees 15, 24 to 25 and verse 27, but it looks like we have pieces of those verses put together for coherency right now. And it says, on the selfsame day was Abraham circumcised, and all the men of his house, for it is an eternal ordinance ordained and written on the heavenly tablets. And for all the angels of the presence and all the angels of sanctification have been so created from the day of their creation.
That's right. So I'd encourage anybody to go back and check out the entirety of the passage in its context. We didn't have time to cover it all for the sake of time tonight, but for coherency, like you said, it does help you to see that this latter verse is in reference to what's going on in the previous verses of the circumcision being talked about, an eternal ordinance, and it's written on heavenly tablets. So it's a law in heaven, not just on earth. Right?
I just think the average believer doesn't quite get this idea that it's not written on heavenly tablets because the angels run around going, well, this is the standard for mankind. We should write it down on heavenly tablets, but we're not going to do anything on these tablets. Like, no, the same information written on tablets and given to Moses on Mount Sinai is the same information the angels abide by. There is one law.
That's right.
There's not a whole bunch of different laws for different people groups or angel kind or mankind. There is one law. It's that simple.
On earth as it is in heaven.
This is why when you ask certain seminary trained pastors and scholars, and you start to ask them, well, what's the ontology of an angel? What's their physical biology? What are they made of, right? Are they made like a snail? Or are they made like a man? Or are they made, like, what are they made of?
They'll say, angels, no, just spirit.
Yes, exactly. They'll just be like, well, they're spiritual beings. They're spirit. And I'm like, well, what is that? Is it a ghost?
Wings.
And then they'll say, well, no, they don't have an actual body. They're spirits. Like I had one gentleman on my channel that was upset that I mentioned that Yahweh himself actually has a body. He was just floored by that idea. He was like, how dare you? Like, no, he doesn't. He's a spiritual. I'm like, dude, do we need to go to the verses that actually describe his hair, his feet, his hands? You know what I mean? Like, we're made in his image. What do you think that is? Like, I'm not made in the image of wispy see-through stained glass window. Like, no, I'm made in the image of my creator. And so are the angels to a degree. They're clearly given this body. Not only can it change shapes depending on their mission or their purpose or what's going on, but it seems as if their regular appearance does look very much like a man, even to the point of having male members as a part of their creation. And this is where you start having that conversation with certain people from certain seminary denominations, and they have to reject that because they reject Genesis 6's discussion about the angels impregnating women.
Exactly. That's a big reason that this passage triggers a lot of people. I've seen that.
It's all connected. We always talk about everything in the Bible's connected, right? So like, this is why understanding the ontology or the makeup, the spiritual bodies of angels, what Paul refers to as the heavenly or the spiritual glory of that type of flesh. And he actually calls it flesh. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a different type of flesh. It's not the flesh of man made of the dirt, but it's the flesh of the angels that somehow is produced from this spirit and water. And so, yes, they did have male members that were circumcised because that's, again, there's one law. That'll be my next shirt. It'll just say one law. You know what I mean?
I like it.
And every time I debate a pastor, I can just say, I brought the shirt for tonight, right? There's one law. And that's the thing that I think no one really puts two and two together with the angels discussion, is they always think angels are somehow abiding in some different type of reality different standards of expectation and behavior, and that they just are enforcing some ridiculous rules upon mankind. It's so misinformed. I'll just be nice and say that. So misinformed.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
But they're corporal, right? They have actual
Yeah.
physical bodies. There's tangibility to them, even though they can still walk through walls, teleport, fly. They can do both. They got both.
So this is Psalm 103, 20 through 21. Bless the Lord, you his angels, mighty in strength, who perform his word, obeying the voice of his word. Bless the Lord, all you his hosts, you who serve him, doing his will.
Okay, so just like you were just talking about, angels keep the law of God, is what this is saying, right? Obeying his word, doing what his voice says, and serving him, doing what his will is.
Yeah, and obeying his will is how you get to your calling, just like the angels. They have to obey his word to get to their calling, which is to be ministers to mankind. That's how they're fulfilled the most.
So to what extent, though? We've already seen the circumcision going on. Would you read Jubilees 2?
And he gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the seventh day from all workers. Now, who's speaking here? Is this the angel? Or is this man speaking?
The angel of the presence on the mount with Moses.
Isn't that fascinating? The angel says, and Yahweh gave us a great sign, the Sabbath day, that we should work 6 days, but keep Sabbath on the seventh day from all work. And all the angels of the presence, and all the angels of sanctification, these two great classes, he has bidden, that means instructed. He has instructed us to keep the Sabbath with him in heaven and on earth.
Okay, so yeah, we know from like Genesis and a number of other passages that Yahweh keeps the Sabbath, right? He rested from all his works on the seventh day of creation. And so apparently all the angels that he created on day one also do and did as well. And continue to do so.
Yahweh
it's
keeps
eternal.
The Sabbath. It is one law. Now you got me wanting to sing some dread music.
Angelic praises.
Dread music.
Okay. Yeah. Keep Shabbat. They keep the Sabbath. What else do they keep up there in the heavens of the firmament?
We be Shabbat.
Jubilee 6, 17 through 18. For this reason, it is ordained and written again on the heavenly tablets that they should celebrate the Feast of Weeks in this month once a year to renew the covenant every year. And this whole festival was celebrated in heaven from the day of creation till the days of Noah. Now, if you're not familiar, the Feast of Weeks is in the Hebrew called Shavuot, and in the Greek, it's called Pentecost. It's also a dual fold feast, as Jubilees goes on to tell us. That is, it's the same day as the Feast of First Fruits. So dual fold, First Fruits, and Pentecost, Feast of Weeks. All this is going on in the heavens, and the angels are celebrating it along with the Father and the Son up there in the physical firmament structures above our heads over the earth.
Yes, it's amazing.
I think it's beautiful. I want to do it, do what they're doing. And I can only hope that we're practicing it along the same time that they are actually keeping it to perfection, as we will, like they do in the resurrection.
Like Yeshua does as their leader right now. I'm glad you included this verse, because a lot of people seem to forget that these bodies of angels can actually eat normal food that we have on earth.
Yeah. They have the digestive systems. They apparently have teeth to chew, saliva to be able to digest.
They've got organs for an excretory system that's going to push out what's not digested. They've got all the working parts, you know what I mean? Abraham also ran to the herd, took a tender and a choice calf, and gave it to the servant. And he hurried to prepare it. And he took curds and milk and the calf which he had prepared and placed it before them. He was standing by them under the trees as they ate. Oh my goodness. How dare you, Genesis, tell me that angels eat meat? How dare you?
No, calf just means like leaves and stuff, right? No, he went to the flock of the herd. Okay. Yeah, it was.
We need it. I should have prepared the clip of Greta. How dare you?
How dare you?
Like, this whole thing is just flies in the face of everything the world tries to tell us, right? That's why we see so many modern day Christians falling for this ancient Hinduism, thinking that meat is evil somehow, that what God created to be good and be received with thanksgiving is somehow bad and should be rejected with condemnation. And so I'm going to just trust my Heavenly Father's words and all the examples he gives us, like in this passage here, where even angelic beings made of water and spirit, they also eat meat. Because there's one law in all of heaven and earth, and the angels abide by it too. So the same Leviticus 11, Deuteronomy 14 list of animals that are clean and unclean. Some can be eaten, some cannot. The angels know that list, and they eat the ones that can be eaten.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah.
One law for the native born and the foreigner or stranger within the gates. And it doesn't get much more native born than having been created in heaven on the first day.